Supplements like Soda Slim are often promoted through aggressive online marketing and are not really one clearly defined product. This makes products marketed under names like Soda Slim particularly difficult to analyze. There may be multiple versions, sellers, and formulas circulating online, with little clear connection between them all beyond a similar name, appearance, or marketing campaign. With that in mind, we'll analyze Soda Slim based on the ingredients most commonly found in these types of formulations. We'll look at what the research actually tells us about each ingredient and, more importantly, whether it's likely to help with weight loss. Many Soda Slim type formulations contain caffeine, which is probably one of the most common ingredients in weight loss supplements. Caffeine can increase alertness, reduce feelings of fatigue, and modestly improve exercise performance. By helping you exercise a little harder for a little longer, it may indirectly increase the number of calories you burn. But caffeine is not a powerful fat burner on its own. Its effects on weight loss tend to be modest by itself, and much of the benefit may simply come from allowing you to become more active. Another reason caffeine is so common in these supplements is that it's inexpensive and produces an effect that you can actually feel. A noticeable boost in energy can make it seem as though the entire supplement is working, when in reality, much of what you're experiencing may simply be the caffeine. Some Soda Slim type products contain reasonable amounts, while others may contain much more caffeine than you would expect, making it important to check the actual dose. By the way, I review a lot of supplements here, so subscribe and hit the bell to stay updated, and support me on Ko-fi if you enjoy the content. Soda Slim type supplements also commonly contain green coffee bean extract. These are simply coffee beans that have not been roasted yet. Because they are unroasted, the beans retain higher levels of compounds called chlorogenic acids, which have been investigated for their potential effects on weight loss. Early studies, including research funded by a manufacturer, suggested that green coffee bean extract could cause substantial weight loss. However, that research was later retracted by the authors after the Federal Trade Commission determined that the study was seriously flawed and fined the manufacturer $3.5 million for deceptive claims related to the research. More recent studies in overweight or obese people suggest that green coffee extract may produce a small amount of weight loss when the results were analyzed statistically. However, the actual difference tends to be so small that it is unlikely to be meaningful for most people. There's also an important question about what is actually responsible for this small effect. Green coffee extracts contain caffeine as well as chlorogenic acids, and caffeine itself has been studied for potential effects on energy and weight loss. That makes it difficult to determine how much, if any, of the benefit comes specifically from the chlorogenic acids. Finally, the doses used in studies are often around 500 milligrams per day, while many Soda Slim type formulations contain substantially less. So even if green coffee extract has a small weight loss effect, the amount found in these products may not be enough to reproduce the results. Green tea extract is another common ingredient in weight loss supplements because it contains EGCG, a compound that is often promoted for its ability to increase fat burning. While there is some evidence that green tea compounds may have a small effect on weight loss, the dose appears to matter. Research suggests that you would need roughly 500 to 800 milligrams of EGCG per day to see even modest effects on weight loss. That is a substantial amount, roughly the equivalent of drinking 8 or more cups of green tea a day. Soda Slim type products typically contain far less than this, making it unlikely that the amount provided would have any meaningful effect on fat loss. Garcinia Cambogia is a tropical fruit extract that has been heavily marketed as both an appetite suppressant and a fat burner. Although a few studies have reported small reductions in body weight, the results have generally been inconsistent, and the doses used in some of the more positive studies have been quite large, around 5 grams per day of a standardized extract. That is far more than what you typically find in Soda Slim type supplements. At the much lower doses commonly used in these products, Garcinia Cambogia is unlikely to do much more than a placebo when it comes to meaningful weight loss. Raspberry ketones were once hyped as a miracle fat burner, particularly after being promoted heavily on television more than a decade ago. The excitement largely came from laboratory and animal research suggesting that raspberry ketones might influence how fat is released from fat cells in mice. The problem is that these effects were never convincingly demonstrated in humans. Despite the flashy marketing, there is no good evidence that raspberry ketones actually help people lose weight. They are a good example of how promising laboratory findings can get turned into much bigger claims before there's actual evidence that it works in real life. So is something like SodaSlim actually going to help you lose weight? Probably not. These products appear to be generic weight loss supplements wrapped in a highly questionable marketing campaign. The ads may use AI-generated videos, deepfakes, fake testimonials, or even the likeness of famous people such as Oprah to make the product appear more credible and grab your attention. These celebrity endorsements are not real. The viral baking soda trick is another example of this type of marketing hook. It presents a simple, surprising secret for weight loss that sparks curiosity and makes people want to click. Once they do, that hook can funnel them toward a supplement purchase, even when the baking soda trick has little or nothing to do with the product actually being sold. These products themselves often just contain a collection of common ingredients associated with generic weight loss supplements that are either underdosed, poorly supported by research, or simply not very effective. There's nothing unique about the formula. You can find many similar products using the same handful of weight loss ingredients, often under different names and packaging. When you strip away the celebrity videos and viral claims, there really isn't much that separates SodaSlim from countless other generic weight loss supplements. At around $50 to $70 per month, it's pretty expensive. If you want to recreate the basic idea behind what this supplement is trying to accomplish, you could simply use a properly dosed caffeine source along with a standardized green tea extract that would likely cost considerably less than SodaSlim while also making it much easier to know exactly how much of each ingredient you're getting. Rating SodaSlim by effectiveness for weight loss, I'm giving it a D. At best, it appears to be primarily a caffeine supplement with an uncertain caffeine dose, while many of the other ingredients are provided at amounts that are unlikely to have much of an effect. Rating by cost, I'm giving it a D. You're paying a premium for a formula when you don't even know exactly what you're getting. Rating for safety, I'm giving it a C. The biggest concern is that the caffeine content can vary between products and may be higher than expected. Too much caffeine can cause problems for some people, particularly those who are sensitive to stimulants. And because there are so many different products being sold under similar names, it can be difficult to know exactly what you're getting. Overall rating, I'm giving an F. I would recommend you stay away from it. Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Yeung. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to share them in the comments down below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And if you know someone who could benefit from this, please share it with them. Finally, if you enjoy what we do and want to learn more, consider supporting us on Ko-fi, and be sure to check out our other socials as well.